All right, fam. Let's talk Superman. Let's talk big business, guys. No joke. Let's put it all on the line right now. Let's talk Superman box office predictions. And as you might expect, the numbers are all over the place. All right. So there's no hiding. There's no disputing this. There's people on both sides of the coins right now. There's people that are pissed, and there's people that are absolutely flabbergasted and can't wait for this movie to roll out in its grandeur and splendor for everybody to boast and talk about for centuries to come. What will Superman bring to the table? This legacy that has spanned from the late 70s all the way to now. What is it going to bring, guys? And why? Why is this such a big deal? Why are so many people really concerned about how this movie is going to fare in the box office? How this movie is going to do financially, domestically? Yes, international, it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. But why are we so bent on wanting to know how strong this movie is going to do from a financial perspective? Why? Why does that mean so much to us? What does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Is it really necessary? Is it really important to know that, Superman grossed X amount of millions of dollars? Now, does that make you feel good at the end of the day? I don't know. For some, it does. Unless you have an invested interest. You've invested into DC and Warner Brothers, and maybe you got a big stake in this film, and I get it. But from my perspective, what's important to me is the quality of the film. Are the characters, are the actors that are going to be playing the different characters in this film? We've got David Corenswet, who's playing Clark Kent, Superman. Henry Cavill is out. We've got a new Superman, guys. We've got Rachel Brosnahan, who's playing Lois Lane. We've got Nicholas Hoult, another very legitimate, serious, legit actor who's playing Lex Luthor. This guy can play any actor. He could play any character, and he's going to be playing Lex Luthor. It's very important to make sure that you have your heroes and your villains being able to properly depict and represent their characters the way they're supposed to be from a DC perspective, but also what fans are going to be appreciative of. Is this the kind of film that you're going to keep moving your butt in the chair and you're going to get up and you're going to be like, oh, you know what, I'm just getting antsy, I'm getting restless, I need to get up, I need to stretch my legs? Or is this the kind of movie that's going to have you at the edge of your seats? Great questions, right? So, here's the latest on Superman, and there's obviously, as I mentioned, definitely some mixed bag of onions that are out there. And we've got 3 weeks to go, guys. 3 weeks to go before the launch of this film, one of the most coveted, most talked about, most hyped films of the year, and it's Superman. And according to the data from the National Research Group, which is the industry's top tracking services, and guys, there's a lot of, look, when we're talking about metrics, we're talking about the science that goes behind compiling this data, the analytics. I mean, statistics are in everything. If you're a sports fan, they've got so many different kinds of analytics and metrics that they're measuring, it'll make your head spin. So they do the same for movies as well, right? And it's important, guys. It's important, right? So they're projecting that Superman is projected to gross about 135 million USD domestically. Now, what does that mean? In my previous video, I was talking about a lot of people talking about The Wrap thinks that Superman's going to gross between 90 to 125 million. And I was kind of thinking, no, you know what? I think I'm going to go for, I think my prediction is going to be 134 million. The title of my YouTube video was 134 million. That's my projection. So If it brings in 135 million, if that holds true, it would be one of the stronger openings for a DC film. Not quite at the level of Batman vs. Superman, which brought in $166 million back in 2016, but still way ahead of the Man of Steel, which opened up at $116 million. And I'll get into a little bit more details on those films here shortly, but they're definitely giving it a range now between $125 to $145 million, which will be a solid debut for the franchise, well ahead of the Batman and Suicide Squad and right behind Nolan's Dark Knight films. Now that said, not everyone agrees on how high Superman will fly. Some are predicting a much lower opening, which I talked about in my previous YouTube video, and somewhere within the range of 90 to 125 million dollars. And so yeah, the opinions are definitely split. Everyone's got an opinion on this. Everybody. I was talking to another YouTuber on the phone over the weekend, and they were saying that, you know what, it's very realistic for this film. Maybe it may not hit $1 billion like I was making reference to, and with the when comparing the DC franchise to like Jurassic Park. I mean, it's a whole different film altogether, right? But there's a lot of folks that think that this movie can bring in umpteens of hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's not a bad thing. And guys, look, if the movie does start off slow, if it only brings in like say $100 million, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, we'll take it as a very soft opening, but sometimes some movies are a little slow to kind of get out of the gate, whereas some movies are a little bit quicker, fast and furious, no pun intended. And it is what it is. But Superman itself is a big hype movie. So even if it does come out a little bit slower out of the gates, it'll start to gain a lot of momentum and and that momentum will take it, will make Superman soar above the others for sure. And it'll start to pick up pick up pace and pick up speed on its way. So I definitely think that this film is poised to hit about between 135 to 166 million respectively. And some argue that it'll be more, some argue that it'll be a lot less. So it's going to be very interesting. So here's the other thing you got to look at. Okay, and actually, you know what? I'm going to talk about the twist, and then I'm going to talk about some of the unforeseen circumstances that are kind of impeding in a lot of people's ability to potentially help make that Superman franchise hit their numbers. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But here's the twist. Tracking isn't necessarily an exact science. It isn't. All right, and it's been way off before. Look at the poll numbers. I mean, when we're talking about the election night, you watch, it doesn't matter if it's MSNBC, Fox, CNN, it doesn't matter. Everyone's got their own polls and opinions, and usually a majority of them are all wrong, right? So even insiders at DC Studios and Warner Brothers are playing it very safe, which is why initially they're projecting a more conservative amount of about a kind of a soft opening of around $90 to $120 million. And let's be real, if it opens under $100 million, then that could potentially look like a bad look. But I just mentioned, to some people it may look like a bad look. I just think that just meant that the movie came out of the gates a little bit slower than expected, but it'll start to pick up pace, and it'll pick up speed to the point where it'll start to blow some of the other films out of the water. Now, on the flip side, there's a lot of box office experts who feel that because of all the social media buzz, because of all the hype, because of all the marketing and ingenuity that's gone behind the scenes to bring Superman to where it is today, and again, we still have 3 weeks to go, guys, that Superman is definitely poised to hit as high as $175 million, which is $9 million more than Batman versus Superman. It'll be one of the strongest DC openings ever. And I honestly think we can definitely hit that. The movie drops on the 11th of July, which is a Friday. That's in theaters everywhere. Now, depending on where you live, and when I talk about domestically, I'm talking about North America, I'm talking about Canada, talking about the US. Now, in the US, there's a lot of ways to get early access, advanced pre-screening through like Amazon Prime and Fandango. A lot of my friends in the United States, they were trying to buy tickets for Tuesday, July 8th, which is the advanced pre-screening for this movie, and Fandango blew up on them. It crashed. But some of them were able to get tickets, some not so lucky. I purchased tickets for general tickets, VIP for Friday, July 11th, but I'm changing that now because in Canada, especially where I'm located, the earliest early access tickets that I can get my hands on would be Thursday, July 10th. And so the question really comes down to is, do you want to watch it on a weekday, or do you want to watch it like on a Friday night, Saturday night, take out the family, make a night out of it, go out for dinner, go watch a movie, you know? Some people are not so, some people feel like there's a little bit more flavor to that experience by watching it on the weekend as opposed to watching it earlier during the week. That comes down to you, comes down to what you feel, what's important to you. To me, it really honestly doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but I do like the whole feeling of trying to watch a movie over the weekend as well too, but that's neither here, neither there. Now, David Corenswet, as I mentioned, he's stepping into the iconic role of Superman. We've got Rachel Brosnahan, who's playing Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult, Lex Luthor. We've got a lot of other notable characters. So, you know, obviously, the story brings us back to Clark Kent, you know, trying to balance his life as a journalist, as a reporter, but also carries the burden of the serious weight called Superman on his shoulders. Coming from Krypton, there's also another added surprise that I can't wait to see, and that's the appearance of Crypto Superdog. So Crypto is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. There's going to be a lot of amazing supporting cast roles in this film as well too. And this is shaping up, guys, to be one of the biggest reset moments of the DC universe. And the question really comes down to is, are you hyped? Are you excited? Let me know in the comments, guys, if you're planning to see it opening night, and which character are you most excited to see in this film? Now, I wanted to quickly mention something. There's a lot of people out there, you know, there's a lot of unforeseeable circumstances. There's a lot of, you know, the economy is not where it used to be. I mean, sure, you know, a lot of these films had such high turnouts and amazing box office revenues, you know, in the first weekend and stuff. But those are different times, you know, where gas prices weren't through the roof, where grocery prices weren't killing you, you know, like there were so many plus points, you know. And right now, with the way the economy is, and you know, right now people are feeling the pinch. And there's a lot of people out there, and it's not silly to talk about this, but there's a lot of people out there who are struggling with the idea of having to purchase tickets, go to the theater, take their family, and making a night out of it, maybe even getting dinner and a movie and all that. But that could become very costly and very expensive to a lot of people. And that's just a hardcore reality of the times that we live in. And there's nothing to shy about that. It is what it is, and it's unfortunate. And you know, I really hope things turn around, you know, but times are tough, guys. So right now, for this movie to be coming out, it's going to have a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of expectations, but at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of mitigating factors that could potentially impede in Superman's ability to come out strong right out of the gates, right? Which is why a more realistic, soft approach coming out of the gates at around 90 to 125 million might be a little bit more realistic. So we'll see. We'll see how that shapes up. Now, so obviously, you know, like when we're talking about DC films and we're talking about the comparisons, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016, $166 million. The Dark Knight Rises, 2012, $161 million. The Dark Knight, 2008, $158.4 million. Batman 2022, $134 million. Suicide Squad 2016, $133.7 million. Man of Steel, I keep making reference to Man of Steel. A lot of people think that this film is going to be within the same kind of range. $116.6 million. Man of Steel was released 2013, 12 years ago. And again, we're talking about 100 to 135 million potential revenue projections. And when we compare to Marvel, the Avengers Endgame, which came out in 2019, came out pounding at $357 million. Spider-Man No Way Home, 2021, $260 million. Black Panther, 2018, $202 million. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, 2022, that was only a few years ago, $187 million. And that same year, Thor, Love and Thunder, $144 million, guys. Thor, Love and Thunder brought in $144 million. Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 3, 2022, a James Gunn film. Sorry, 2023, my apologies. James Gunn film brought in $118 million. Again, a lot of people are also comparing the potential box office revenue of Superman to equate to James Gunn's Guardian of the Galaxy. That'll be interesting. And also in 2023, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, that brought in about $106 million. So if Superman pulls in $130 to $135 million, guys, that's a very respectable opening. It would outperform recent Marvel films like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, and would rank as one of the DC's stronger launches, even beating Batman if it hits the high end. So not bad at all for a reboot kicking off the new DC universe. So what do you guys think? Can it hit those numbers or even go higher? Drop your predictions in the comments. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. And look, guys, at the end of the day, if you're expecting Superman to soar, past all those projections, that's fantastic. But ultimately, I think we can all attest to the fact that we're here to watch a high quality film. I'm here to see what Superman is going to bring to the table post Henry Cavill, and I want to see if James Gunn's got the guns to be able to deliver and bring to us everything that they've been selling us thus far. So I can't wait to see this film, guys. I want to hear your thoughts and comments. And let me know what you guys think. And I will catch you guys on the next one.